Imagine 1952, હજી ચૈત્ર માસમાં, so around April, પ્રભુ કહે છે અમે બીજા શ્રી રામ ને મહાવીર, ઓ દુષમ કાળના દુર્ભાગી જીવો. ચૈત્ર મહિનામાં, so in the month of April, આવી ઉચ્ચ દશા પ્રાપ્ત કરી અને આસો મહિનામાં શ્રી આત્મસિદ્ધિ શાસ્ત્ર ઓક્ટોબરમાં. We saw 108 preparation, 109 प्रथम संकेत और व्यवहार संकेत, 110 बीजू संकेत अथवा शुद्ध संकेत, verse 111 the third संकेत or the third phase of संकेत or परमार्थ संकेत, the highest form of right belief. So 108 you were yet on first Gunsthanak, but ekdam borderline. In verse 109, somebody locally, because you need the whole knowledge of Gunsthanak to actually enjoy this. 109, you are yet on the first ekdam frontiers par व्यवहार संकेत. शुद्ध संकेत, so 110, you were on fourth Gunsthanak. 11 can be fourth or fifth. So out of 14, how many Gunsthanaks we covered? 4 or maximum 5. You can keep it as 4 only because it's Samkit. Keep it as 4. How many left? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 10 left. How many verses left? 2. 112 and 113. So, what you are going to be hearing today will be so rapidly I have to progress in my discourse. It might sound little technical or maybe not so emotional like 9, 10, 11. Sorry, 109, 110 and 111. It was so emotional because the Sadguru, now Sadguru has pushed the sadhak in the abidance of the true nature of the self. So it will be more Atma focused. If you are not very Atma inclined, you might find it very dry or technical. So I'll try my best to make it very interesting. Let's go. Link. So from verses 109 to 111, the Guru described the nature of Vyavhar Samkit and the Nischay Samkit. Nischay Samkit ma Shuddha Samkit and Paramarth Samkit. Because they are based on experience, this is based on Sadguru. Devguru Dharma, Devguru Shastra. So from 109 to 111, the Guru described the nature of Vyavhar and Nischay Samkit, as well as provided a glimpse to the inner state of a self-realized soul. Anubhav Laksha Pratit. So now in this verse, he explains fruit of self-realization or fruit of Samkit. What was the Samkit? What is the nature of Samkit? What is the dasha, the state of a Samkiti? Explained in 109, 10 and 11. Now what is the phal? What is the result? What is the fruit of Samkit? Is explained in this verse. What is the fruit? State of complete dispassion is attained. That is the fruit. Samkitnu phala vitaragata, or the state of dispassion. Let's see what the Guru says.
वर्धमान समकीत थई टाड़े मिथ्याभास उदय थाय चारित्रनो वीतराग पदवास.
Vardhaman, increasing, growing, intensifying. More and more with abidance in the self, Samkit is getting very powerful, increasing, intensifying. Samkit of right belief. So Samkit getting Vardhaman, getting intensified, what happens? Tale removes Mithya Bhas, conduct delusion. Because faith delusion is over now with Samkit. So what is left? The second one. Conduct delusion, meaning Charitramonia, meaning passions. Bhranti is gone, passions are left. So what happens? Vardhaman Samkit hai, Tale Mithyabhas. All the Mithyabhas, the conduct delusion is removed. Tell me in a positive way what happens. This was the negative way, passions getting destroyed. But in Moksha Marg, it is not a negative state. It's a positive state. What happens? What virtue is cultivated there by destroying the mithyabhas or the passions? Uday thai, rise. Uday sadbhagya. Uday thai, rise, not of good fortune. Huh? This is not by chance, or this is not by luck, or this is not by punyodaya. This is not good fortune. So rise of right conduct, charitra, right conduct. And what is the ultimate state of charitra? Vitaraga padavas, attains the state of complete dispassion or non-attachment or detachment, which had already begun in the form of vairagya. But when it reaches a peak, it is called vitaragata. So imagine bhave khed and all was vairagya only. So that detachment had started, but with that increasing, intensifying samkit, it turns, that vairagya turns into vitaragata. Irreducible and non-destructible. Shinmo. Okay? As the state of right faith gets intensified, all feelings which were under the influence of the deluding karmas or the monia karmas, mithya bhas means all the feelings under the influence of conduct deluding monia karmas. So all those mithya bhas, meaning simple attachment and aversions, get destroyed gradually. Why this word gradually here? Because the Guru will be talking from 5th Gunsthanak to 12th Gunsthanak in this verse. 113 being 13th Gunsthanak. Simple. 112 reaches till the 12th Gunsthanak, 113, easy to. 113, you reach the 13th Gunsthanak. So gradually it gets destroyed, gradually. With the advent of right conduct, one abides in the state of complete dispassion. Understood? Because now what I'll be saying, you will hardly understand. That's why I'll be using the technical words, but pick up the gist. What happens with this samkit, with that right belief constantly staying, right? Experiential state fluctuating, but right belief is constant. So this getting intensified, all the passions from the grossest to the most subtle, all the passions are getting destroyed gradually. The grossest, anantanubandhi, less gross, apratyakhani, lesser gross, pratyakhyani, most subtle, sensual, very less disturbance caused by it. Everything gets destroyed. नाम याद नहीं रखो, खाली passions get destroyed gradually. If you can pick that message, you have understood the verse. Okay? So, understand one thing, purity in belief occurs instantly. Purity in belief occurs instantly. You attain Shuddha Samkit and the belief occurs instantly. Correct? But purity in conduct occurs gradually. I repeat, purity in belief, or say purity in faith, purity, because we've been using right faith for some kids. So purity in faith occurs instantly. Whereas purity in conduct occurs gradually. So gradually, pure. Complete pure when you are at 12th Gunsthanak. Pure conduct starts 5th bolu, 6th bolu. 50 bolu, okay. So from 5th Gunsthanak it starts with partial vows. Then in 6th you take embrace monkhood, sadhu. So he's saying 5th, so I'm saying 5th, okay. So from 5th, the purity in conduct gradually increases. Passions decrease, but purity in conduct increases. 6th more, 7th more, 8th more, em karta 12th par total purity of conduct. I didn't say knowledge. Purity of Shraddha happened with Parmat Samket only. Purity of Charitra starts from 5th and completes at 12th. Now complete pure knowledge is left for 8 minutes maximum, and you attain Kevalnam, 13th Gunsthanak. So that is the next verse. So little technical, but it's interesting. नहीं लखाई तो नहीं लगता, खाली बदे इमोशनल वर्ड्स लखी देजो. Technical words नहीं लगता, अनंता, and then you will not, by the time you write Anantanu Bandi, I might have finished the 4th one also. But you should know. And I'm not going to go into the details of each. I can ask Nemiji and he'll explain, because I've taught him personally Anantanubandhi example, Apratyakhani example, and you've studied from Panditji also. But in one word I'll explain, so you will know exactly Sunche. So purity in belief occurs instantly. Purity in conduct happens gradually. So either you say of purity, then it increases gradually. Or if you are saying in the form of destruction of passions, so it gradually decrease, totally destroyed at 12. Same thing. Total purity at 12, purity of conduct. So total purity of conduct happens at 12th, or total destruction of passions happen at the 12th Gunsthana. So what are we going to do in this, say, another 30 minutes? Start climbing, ascending from the 5th Gunsthanak, and by the end of this verse, explanation of this verse, will be at 12th Gunstanak. You understand? So, atla bada Gunstanakni વાત again in one verse. And it's complete. I'll be speaking for 30 minutes. And then we'll go back to the verse. And you said, yeah, everything is covered in this verse. Everything what I said has been covered in this verse. Okay. So, from the time one gains the right faith, meaning Samyak Darshan, he starts losing interest in worldly activities. Why Samyak Darshan? You are just learning about Samyak Darshan and you start losing interest in worldly activities. At least of the grossest forms. So, from the time one attains right faith, yet I have not started talking of Vardhaman Samkit, Samkit getting intensified. I am just saying at the time of Samkit. Since then, the interest, he has been losing interest in the worldly activities and he stays away from the defiling instincts. આવા બધા કષાયો ને બધું થતો હોય તો હવે પેલું ઓલરેડી સબસાઇડ કર્યા છે, પેસિફાઈ કર્યા છે. સો લિટલ બિટ ડિસ્ટર્બન્સ એન્ડ હી વોન્ટ્સ ટુ જસ્ટ લેટ ગો ઓફ ધ હોલ ઇશ્યુ એન્ડ કમ બેક ટુ હિઝ પીસ સેન્ટર. સો ધીસ ઇઝ વેરી natural, right? And when you are having right faith, meaning right faith and right knowledge, Samyak Gnan and Samyak Darshan, obviously it has been intensified, the whole process. Okay. So from the time one gains right faith, he starts losing interest in the worldly activities, stays far, keeps a distance from the passions or the defiling instincts. This happens from the time he attains Samyak Darshan. And what happens? The bondage of karmas steadily continues to go down. With Samyak Darshan, the bondage of karmas goes down. Balance ochi tati jai. So, impact of the conduct delusion karmas have also decreased. What it was before Samyak Darshan and what it is after gaining Samyak Darshan, it has decreased. I'll show you the whole process, how it decreases, what decreases first. But this is common sense. With right faith, the impact of the conduct, why I am saying conduct? Because right belief is already there. So now belief delusion I don't want to talk about. It's gone, it's destroyed. With the rise of right faith, Samyak Darshan. But conduct deluding karmas were there. So the impact of the conduct delusion karmas on the soul, that has also started decreasing. Not destroyed, but decreasing. The conduct deluding karmas have not yet been destroyed, but the impact has been decreased. And this is so beautifully explained in the Jain scriptures. 4 passions you know: Krodh, Man, Maya, Lobh. Anger, arrogance, deceit, greed. So 4 passions you knew. Because I had said the impact of the conduct delusion karmas is in the form of these 4 defiling feelings, instincts. Okay? But the scriptures have divided it into 4 categories according to the impact. Anantanubandhi, the grossest and the most intense. Anantanubandhi. What is it, Nemiji? Anantanubandhi?
when it fructifies, it creates another cycle of karma bondage.
Cycle. You are in a loop. It is so gross. I'm not explaining it in detail, but the grossest category, where you are in a loop for millions of years, maybe. With one cycle ending, you are bound to start another cycle. You are bound to start the third circle. And you are in a loop of your kashais, your anger, your pride, your deceit, your greed. You just can't come out of it. So that's the grossest, most intense. I think that's enough for Anantanubandhi. Then there's a second category which is less gross, little lighter than this Anantanubandhi. But what does it do? It hinders from even taking partial vows. I can't do Ratri Bhojan Tyag. एक दिवस करो ने per week. No, I'm scared. एक दिवस है रात में भूख लगी तो I can't do, Baba. I will try to do, but I can't take those small vows also, and for a short time also. Not. I just can't do Naukarsi. Because આપણે ચા જોઈએ ત્યારે ચા જોઈએ જ. But you don't get up before 8. Yeah, but what if I get up? See, this category, when the impact is such, you are scared of any vows. I love the Atmarpit way of life. But what if I can't just stay to it? I can't remain steadfast in it. I won't get married. I will only be doing seva sadhana, but I don't want to go into that vow. That partial vows also, you are scared. You know it is true because of right faith. But you are, this category of passions would allow you to know what is right and wrong, but not let you do right. Simple. So, if you don't understand, remember the technical words, fine. But the grossest and the most intense, then less gross, which hinders partial vows, passions which hinder taking of the partial vows also. Then there is the next category, pratyakhyani kashaya. Passions which hinder taking complete vows. I'm not having potatoes, onions, all the root vegetables, but mare vrat nat levu. I'm doing brahmacharya palan, but I don't want to take that vow of ajivan brahmacharya or say monkhood. Small vows you can take, but the complete, it hinders. So the grossest one would not allow right faith only. That love for Guru only does not ooze out. You have sankalp, vikalp, doubts, everything. The second category allows right faith, but hinders even taking partial vows. The third category, lesser gross, which does not hinder taking partial vows, but comes, and the impact is such, you are just not ready for permanent or complete vows. Clear? And the last is the most subtle. આપણે તો લાગે બી નહીં કે કસાય છે, દેખાય બી નહીં. But that inner, on the thought level, or not even on the thought level, maybe feelings level, very, very subtle. So the scriptures have described 4 categories, and everything, as we move from one Gunsthanak to another Gunsthanak, I'll be explained which is destroyed here. You have understood the 4? Anantanubandhi, Apratyakyani, Pratyakhyani, and Sanjwalan. Sanjwalan. Very little disturbance. Okay? So, I do not want anything from the world. I just want to abide in myself is the firm resolve of one who has attained right faith. Can I use the word Samyak Darshan now? If you know Samyak Darshan is right faith. I don't want anything from the world. I just want to abide in myself is the firm resolve of the one who has attained Samyak Darshan. Now I start the verse. Because it starts from Vardhaman Samkita Thai. So what happens? So Samkita I have, right knowledge, right faith I have. That resolve I have that don't want anything from the world. So why expect a change? Rather accept a change. Because I don't want anything from the world. I just want to abide in my true nature. So you are here. And the verse starts from here. This was what happened before 112. Before the verse 112, this is the state of the soul before the verse 112. Firm Samyak Darshan he has, right resolve he has, and now pursuing the path he is putting or trying to put. I don't like the word try, so he is putting efforts to move ahead and advance on this path. So now the verse says, Vardhaman Samkit Thai. This right faith, this Samkit, with Samyak Darshan getting intensified, he progressively advances on the path. With Samyak Darshan getting intensified, meaning more and more abidance in the self, and passions decreasing, what happens? He progressively advances. Vardhaman Samkita Thai, Samkit getting intensified, he is progressing. At the time of Samyak Darshan, Samkit, the grossest and the most intense category of passions, meaning the Anantanubandhi Kashai, were already destroyed at the time of Samyak Darshan only. So this verse actually starts with only 3 categories. In total there are 4 categories: Anantanubandhi, Apratyakhani, Pratyakhani, Sanjwalan. But Anantanubandhi category was already destroyed at the time of Samyak Darshan. And we are talking after Samyak Darshan in this verse. So at the time of Samyak Darshan, the grossest, the intense category of kashais or passions were already destroyed. So in this verse, the aspirant has to work on which categories? Second, third and fourth, Apratyakhani, Pratyakhani, Sanjwalan, less gross, lesser gross, least gross, or you can say subtle. Now 3 categories he has to work for the right conduct to appear, uday, appear. For the right conduct to appear, he has to destroy these 3 categories. Very clear? 4 categories, but one has gone with Samyak Darshan. Because that category wouldn't allow Samyak Darshan only, but he has already attained Samyak Darshan. That means it is annihilated. So now I need to destroy those passions or karmas which hinder partial vows. I need to destroy those passions or karmas which hinder complete vows, and I need to destroy those passions which create subtle distractions. Very, very subtle. Means your intellect will not be able to even grasp the subtleness. It's subtle. But that subtle passions also create little disturbance. So he's not in complete state of complete dispassion. So I need to overcome. Yes. So with the annihilation of the apratyakhani and the Pratyakani. See, over, huh? Anantanubandhi over, and now other two are also over. In just one sentence. Even I'm learning from my guru, do fast. So with the annihilation or pacification, pacifying, but I'm not touching the pacifying part, but annihilation of the apratyakani and pratyakani, meaning now no passions are such which does not let the soul, the aspirant, take complete vows. He is ready. Because એટલા બધા એ મોહ એટલો બધો ઓછો થઈ ગયો છે કે if I say કે ચલ શિવ કાલે આંબિલ કરીએ આપણે, either you say what rubbish, what is this આંબિલ, it's not even holy. So I think you are in that Anantanubandhi chakkar, first category only. When I am saying let's do now, why you want to wait for holy? But still, so you are in the grossest thing. You will say કે બાપા એક ચાની છૂટ આપો ને કોફીની છૂટ આપો સવારે, એક સવારના અને એક સાંજના, 2 cups of coffee and then that tasteless food. See, we have been doing only 3 dravyas since 15th April. But the problem we are facing is something else. So 3 dravya is fine, and एक आध fruit के salad ले लो तो extra, and it is fine. But now these people make the 3 dravyas also so tasty. So in the beginning I didn't realize. I said, see how we can easily survive on 3 dravyas. I've got 3 different dravyas in the morning and evening, but 3 in a plate. So first I was quite happy that see આપણે 3માં જીવી જ શકીએ છીએ. And then I realized that because they're making it so tasty, પેલા 4th નો વિચાર નથી આવતો. Now what do we do? નેમીને કીધું કે this doesn't, by just decreasing the number of items, doesn't, at least I am not feeling કે આપણે તપ કરી રહ્યા છે. વૃત્તિ સંક્ષેપ છે, પણ રસ ત્યાગ કરીએ તો મતલબ છે, અને ઉણોદરી કરીએ તો મતલબ છે. So now we are planning something like that કે જે બી તમે મોકલો એની અંદર પેલું શું ચૂરન બુરન નાખી દેવાનું અને ટેસ્ટલેસ બનાવી દેવાનું. or every day one masala you don't have to put, you choose. આજે મરચું નહીં કે આજે મીઠું નહીં કે એવું કંઈ મરી નહીં કે. So we'll give you the instructions tomorrow. So Anantanubandhi, so I told Shiv કે આપણે કાલે આંબિલ કરો. Anantanubandhi તો he wouldn't even agree, he wouldn't even think this is the right thing to do. આટલી ગરમીમાં આવું ખાઈએ તો મરી જાય વગેરે વગેરે, all that we can't. But I don't think you are having such passions right now. Okay. પછી એને એમ થયું કે કરી તો લેશું, પણ જરા ભાવિન કુમાર માથું ચડી જાય છે. શું એકાદ કપ કોફી કે ચાની છૂટ રાખી દે, બાકી તમે કહો તો 2 દ્રવ્ય ખાશું. આમ બી શું ખાવાનું હોય આંબેલમાં? ડોકલું ને મગ 2 ચીજ ખાઈ લઈશું. He is not having that courage કે ચાલો કરી લઈએ, એમાં શું? So that's because of those passions. But that also he has overcome. પછી there was one Sadhviji Maharaj, Sadhviji, it happened to meet her some many years back. So અમને ખબર પડી, she was calling me. So મેં કીધું ચાલો હું પણ જઈ આવું, વંદન કરી અને પછી આગળ અમારે જવાનું. કેટલામું આંબેલ ખબર? 1400. 1400. I don't know કેટલા વર્ષ થાય. કોન્સ્ટન્ટ 5 વર્ષથી 1400 આંબેલ હતું. She must have heard about me, so she wanted to meet me, and I happened to pass by. So 1400 આંબેલ હતું. એટલે કેટલા વર્ષોથી આંબેલ. In that આંબેલ she was doing 2 દ્રવ્ય, ભાત અને પાણી, 2 જ. Then she's telling me, બધું આ ભાત અને પાણી તો આપણે ગણીએ બી નહીં, એટલે પાણી અમે જ ગણતા નથી 3માં, એટલે એ ગણે તો પાછું બીજું ચોથું. તો ભાત અને પાણી, પણ એમ કે શું કહીએ રાકેશભાઈ? બહુ ભૂખ્યા હોય ને ત્યારે ભાત પણ ટેસ્ટી લાગે છે. બહુ ભૂખ્યા હોય, when you are very hungry, only rice also becomes tasty. See, if a person is staying in the jail for say 5-7 years, when he is like, he has to leave the jail, he starts crying. Attachment. Principle of psychology is, with any object or any person, if you stay more than 72 hours, attachment begins, irrespective of that person's nature or whatever. 72 કલાક જો સંગ રહ્યો તો થોડી થોડી આસક્તિ થઈ જાય. એટલે સાધુને 3 ડેઝથી વધારે એક જગ્યાએ રહેવાનું જ નહીં. વી આર આ સાયકોલોજીનો નિયમ છે. એન્ડ વી આર ગેટિંગ એઝ સ્ક્રિપ્ચરલ knowledge or spiritual. But the base is in human psychology. It just needs total new person or new object. Say you got a room here. Within 72 hours, that ownership feeling will come. Attachment will come. આ મારો પલંગ છે, આ મારું ટેબલ છે, આ મારી સ્પૂન છે, આ મારું છે, આ મારું ઘર છે. 72 hours. So whatever. So that Sadhviji Maharaj, તો એક તો 1400 આયંબિલ, 2 દ્રવ્યસ. તો કે રાકેશભાઈ, and she was doing અવઢ. નૌકારસી એટલે સાંજના 4 વાગે જ ખાવાનું. 3 કલાક એમ હોય ને, નૌકારસીથી 3 કલાક પોરસી, પછી પરમ અવઢ ને એ જે હોય, પછી 4 વાગે દરરોજ આયંબિલ કરે. 4 o'clock. Even kids do at 5 o'clock because they get up late. So, એક તો આયંબિલ, 2 દ્રવ્ય, 4 વાગે ખાવાનું. એમાં એક દિવસ એમને ભાત ભાવ્યો તો ત્યારથી દરરોજ ચૂરણ નાખી દે એની અંદર કે ભાતનો ટેસ્ટ બી નહીં આવે. અને એકલઠાનું કરે. એકલઠાનું એટલે એક જગ્યાએ જ બેસવાનું. એ તો કોઈ બી આપણે એવી રીતે જ કરીએ. You can only move your hand and jaws. Whole body has to be still. કેટલો ટાઈમ બેસી? 45 minutes બેસી શકો? ફટાફટ 5 minutes you get only hands and jaw. Whole body has to be still. No movement, like you are in a meditative posture. So, forget Shiv now. I think it's now beyond his, forget it. So, with the annihilation of Anantanubandhi already happened during Samyak Darshan, and with the Samkit getting intensified, he has overcome these 2 categories also. So now he is ready to take complete vows, meaning he embraces monkhood, sadhupanu. 6 gunstanak already. He embraces monkhood because he can take complete vows. Or if you want to understand in the sense of abidance in the self, so the abidance in the self, because of the abidance in the self, a state of true monkhood appears. Uday thai charitranu. We are already on the second line. Vardhaman samkit thai tale mithyabhas. Uday thai charitra. Such a beautiful word, Uday. See, Uday up till now we had used for 2 things. 1, Karmoday. Many times I have used karma no uday, karmas manifest. So we say કે અરે કેટલો ખરાબ કર્મનો ઉદય છે હમણાં, કેટલો સારો કર્મનો ઉદય છે. So we use uday with karma, meaning manifestations of karmas. Second usage what I can think is Suryodaya. Sunrise ને શું કહેવાય ગુજરાતીમાં? Suryodaya. Sunrise. Sunrise. But Suryodaya doesn't mean that sun is created right now, like a rainbow. Rainbow created. If the sun is not created, it was out of the reach of my sight. Or you can say out of sight, simple. It was out of sight, so I could not see it in the sky. It appeared in the sky, and so I can enjoy the sunrise. So we used uday, meaning rise, for either karma, karmoday, or we have used it for sun, associating it with sun, suryodaya. See, when you say sunrise, your grandparents say suryodaya kitla vage chhe? When does the sun rise? When will it appear on the sky? When will I be able to see it? And now this Bhagavan uses Uday for charitra, conduct. Uday thai charitrano. Now it has appeared in my heart. It may be my inherent nature. It is rather. But what use was it to me? It might be because inherently I am pure nature. So pure faith, pure conduct, everything. But what was the use? I was suffering from delusion and distractions. But now it has appeared in my heart, meaning it is manifested. So dawn, rise, appear, manifested, anything for the word uday. Uday thai charitrano. Outwardly, I am embracing monkhood now. I am ready for permanent vows and complete vows. Internally, the abidance in the awareness and the experience of the self has increased to such a level that a state of monkhood has manifested in me. Of course, I could see the state of monkhood manifested in a householder also. In fact, Prabhuji ji said કે અમે તમને ન ગૃહસ્થ જોઈએ છે, ન સંન્યસ્ત જોઈએ છે, અમે તમને આત્મસ્થ જોઈએ છે. That is true monkhood. Not change of dress, change of name, change of lifestyle. Of course it does help. But this is true monkhood, abidance in the self, meaning he revels in pure awareness and steady within himself, goes in the deep meditative states within a span of 48 minutes. If 48 minutes is difficult, keep 1 hour. In 1 hour, whatever activity he is doing, he gets withdrawn many times and touches the deep states, maybe for half a second. You might not even come to know. Only in close proximity with inner worthiness, you will see the change in the eyes. Okay, suddenly he is not with us. So that's what the disciples and the devotees experienced when they were in association with Param Kripaludev. Even while giving a discourse, you could see suddenly he's getting withdrawn, maybe for half a second, and he's touching deep or high levels or deep meditative states. Such a state, then he is a true monk. Wonderful. Uday thai charitrano. And then what happens now, which is the last category? Anantanubandhi is catered during Samyak Darshan only. Pratyakkhani destroyed so he could embrace monkhood, or the state of monkhood appeared. Now which is the last category? Sanjwalan, meaning subtle passions, which is not allowing complete dispassion. The distraction is also very, very subtle, very, very short time, but still there. The monk has now, what has he to do? Overcome the impact of Sanjwalan karmas, the last category, the most subtle passions. He has to overcome that. And that's what he does. Basically, he has virtually overcome all the passions. Because subtle can't be seen or can't be given grasp by this intellect. Virtually he has already overcome, but not technically. He is yet on the 6th Gunsthanak, and the complete destruction is at 12. So now what does he do? He becomes very impatient. It's not the right way of saying. Very, very impatient. He says, મને એક લેડર આપો, ચટ ચડી જાઉં એના ઉપર, swiftly, steadily, rapidly. I want the Faisla in 48 minutes. Within 48 minutes I want to. So actually there are two types of ladders called the Upsama Shreni and the Shapak Shreni. But I don't find Upsam Shreni in Apurva Avsar. Shreni, Shapakatani. Because Upsam Shreni is called the pacifying ladder, where all the passions are pacified and you climb. But then you fall because it's just pacified. And the second is a destructing ladder. Shabak Shreni. Rapidly, swiftly, fast. બહેનો જેમ કાકડી કરે તેમ, ભાઈઓ જેમ કાકડી કરે તેમ નહીં. ભાઈઓ જેમ ટામેટા કરે ને આપણે એમ લાગે કે આટલું સરસ રીતે તો આપણે કેરી બી નથી કરતા, અને તો બી આવા ટામેટા નીકળે આમ સ્લાઇસીસ, ફટાફટ ફટાફટ સ્વિફ્ટલી. The last category, he wants to destroy it very fast. So he climbs on the destructing ladder, the Shapak Shreni, and rapidly destroys all the conduct delusion karmas. So all sorts of defiling instincts, all sorts of conduct deluding karmas finally come to an end. All the four categories. And he reaches the state of Kshin Moha Gunasthanak. Kshin Moha. Moha is Kshin, destroyed, which is the name of 12th Gunsthanak, where he attains a state of total or complete dispassion, termed as Vitaragata. I finished the journey. I'm already at 12. So beautifully. So easy. It's so easy. So beautifully put here. Samkit, Anantanumanthi has gone. Vardhaman Samkit thai, Apratyakhani gone. Pratyakhani gone. Uday thai Charitrano. Embracing monkhood or attaining a state of true monkhood. And now the last category, it goes by climbing the Shapak Shreni, the destructing ladder, rapidly, swiftly, steadily. You understand? Badu phatapat. It can happen faster than the time I took to explain it. It can be faster than that also. And then he attains this state. This Gunsthanak is called Kshin Moha Gunsthanak. It is the 12th Gunsthanak, and a state of total dispassion called Vitaragta is attained. Not Keval Nan. Vitaragta, this total dispassion is attained. Not omniscience. That will come in the next verse. Keval Gnan. So because of the increasing uninterrupted Samkit, Vardhamana Samkit, elimination of all the conduct deluding karmas, or say conduct deluding passions happens. Right conduct in the form of abidance in the self appears, Uday, and a state of total dispassion attained. Vitarag Pad Vas. Let's sing.
वर्धमान समकीत थई टाड़े मिथ्याभास ઉદય થાય ચારિત્રનો વીતરાગ પદવાસ.